Hello, 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 hello. Hi, everybody. Okay, so I am just making sure that everything is on. Everyone's on. I'm on YouTube. I'm on Facebook. I'm just waiting for Instagram to catch up to us. It's just telling me to hold on a moment. Okay, looks like we're good to go. Hello, everybody. Hi. I'm not going to be keeping up with comments, I'm afraid, because I'm on 3 different platforms. I was meant to be on 4, but I'm having issues with my Twitter again. Sorry, I said that last time as well. So I'm only on 3 platforms, so I won't be keeping up with the chat, but I will be answering your questions after the live chat. So please post them there if you want to. Okay, so in my last live, I went over the value of how you can set up a classroom economy and the value of setting up a classroom shop. Excuse me. And so today I want to look at the things that you could possibly put into your shop that your students could buy, items, if you like, for your stock. So that's what we're going to be doing today. So I'm Charlie. Online, I'm the Ginger Teacher, in case you don't know me. I'm everywhere as the Ginger Teacher. And I create resources to help teachers. I'm on all the main social media platforms. I'm on Instagram, I'm on Twitter, I'm on Facebook, I'm everywhere. So you can search for me. And if you want to follow me, please do. I'm the Ginger Teacher on TikTok. I'm just Ginger Teacher, and on Twitter, I am Charlie. But if you type in Ginger Teacher, you'll find me on everywhere. So please follow me. Okay, so let's get going. Right, so today I'm going to dive deeper into this idea of the classroom economy, and I previously discussed why you should have a classroom economy, why it's really important, the benefits, the things it can do for your students. And also I talked about the practicalities of setting up a classroom economy and how you can go about doing that. That was in my previous slide. So if you have got questions about that, please watch that or ask me, and I'm happy to help you with all of that kind of thing. But so today I'm not really talking about how to set it up. Today I'm going to be talking about how you can stock your shop, the things that you might want to have your students buy with the points that they earn. If all of this is not making any sense to you, please watch the previous live where I talked all of this through. Okay, so let's get going. Right, so let's dive deeper into this idea of gamification and a classroom economy, and in particular, how you can sell items and use it as a behaviour system. Now, I'm a big believer in not spending any money or spending very, very little money on classroom rewards, mainly because teachers put out a lot of money already. They put a lot of money out into their classrooms and to the resources and all these kinds of things. And I don't think we should be spending our money buying rewards for our kids. It's not something you need to do. So there's so many things that you can provide for the children in your class that you don't need to buy. And you can constantly give them these items and these rewards without spending money. So we're going to look at the different things that you can do. Before we do that, I want to talk a little bit about motivation and the kinds of motivation that your students need. Now, there's a concept called a saps triangle, and it's Gabe Zickerman, sorry about that. It's his concept, and it talks about how you are motivated, how things drive you to do the correct behaviour or the things that you want. So, at the bottom of the triangle, right at the bottom, the least motivating thing is stuff. It's actual, tangible stuff, and although that is motivating to an extent, it's the least motivating of all the things we're going to talk about. So you can buy them cute little pencil toppers, or you can buy them rulers, or you can buy them things and give it to them and give them stuff. But it's not really creating the kind of motivation that you want them to get. So underneath, at the next part of the triangle, more motivating, is power. Power relates to control. And if you give people, including children, especially children, the power to make their own choices, to have power over their own lives, or even the power over other people's lives is incredibly motivating. We'll go into that a little bit later. And the more powerful they feel, the more motivated they will be to gain this power. Next up, right near the top of the triangle, we have access. Now, access is access to experiences. It's a VIP type of thing. You want to have this enjoyable, amazing experience that not many people get to have, and you're motivated to get that. So that's quite near the top. And the highest part of the triangle, oh, excuse me, is status. So status is a recognition. It's a kind of appreciation of your efforts, things that you have done, and people appreciate them, and you get that as a reward back for you. So these are the things in the triangle. I will put a picture of it in the chat after the live. But you can see that giving them things and just having physical, tangible objects is not necessarily going to make the kind of motivation for the behaviour that you want. Which is why when we have these classroom economies and these classroom shops, you should be thinking of things that they can buy. I say buy because they collect the points and then they use their points to buy the items. You should have things that are not tangible, real objects, but things that give their students control. I hope all that made sense. Okay, so you don't have to cost anything. It doesn't cost you things. All right, so let's jump into the kinds of things that you can have in your shop that aren't going to cost you any money. Well, we'll start with the very, very base level, and quite simply, when you're first starting out your classroom economy, you don't want to be too confusing. You don't want to confuse yourself. You don't want to be getting into complex systems and all kinds of things like that, although that can come quite later. So you want to decide what to offer your class as purchasable items. And when you do that, there are three broad terms to choose from, which will help you decide what items to put into your class. So the very first thing you want to think about are things that you give your class for free. What do you already give your class that you can now turn into an item in your shop that they need to work for and purchase with their reward points? I'm thinking of things like, do you ever have independent study time where they listen to music? Well, that might be a reward that they can purchase with their points. They don't automatically get to listen to their music. They get that if they earn this and then they decide to buy that kind of privilege. Toilet passes are a good one. They can obviously go to the toilet, they go to the bathroom at the beginning of the lesson, at the end of the lesson, but you always have the ones like, I can use the bathroom. Well, fine, if you want to buy a toilet pass. Now, this is really useful because you're taking away this kind of may I go, and then the power is on the teacher. Yes, you may, no, you may not. Whereas if you let them make the decision, do you want to go to the toilet? Although you will have to buy a toilet pass. Do they want to use the points that they've earned, the points they've saved to buy that toilet pass? Or are they a bit like, well, I don't really think I need to go that bad. I just got a bit bored and I wanted to wander around a bit, and that's not worth buying a toilet pass for. So I think I'll just wait the 10 extra minutes and go at the end of the lesson. This gives them the power and the choice, and they've got their own agency to do that. And that's really quite powerful, these kinds of things. So there's toilet passes, so there's that. There's the listening to music. I had some other ideas. There was okay, so there's also things like having special types of equipment and things like that in the class that they're allowed to use that you wouldn't normally let them. These are things that, again, you gave them for free. They are just privileges that you let your class use normally. But now you're thinking, well, if this is in the shop, this is something that they can buy with the points they've earned from the correct behaviour or from good marks or handing in assignments on time and all this kind of thing. They can use that to buy these privileges. Okay, I hope that makes sense. So the first thing you want to do is look at the things that you're giving them for free and work out where you can make this into an item. The second thing you want to look at is things that make your life easier as a teacher. Ideally, we're striving to make our life easier. We want our lives to be so much more simple. So to do that, we need to look at things that make our life more simple. Things that annoy us or frustrate us. Now, cost the students money, or not money necessarily, but the points they've earned. They cost them this to buy it, and it cuts it down and stops these things from happening. So, for example, if they leave things in their bag or their lockers or whatever outside of the classroom, you may have a locker pass or a bag pass, so that if they need to go out to their bag during the lesson, it's going to cost them a pass. Now, this is frustrating for you because you don't want the lesson broken up. Again, this comes back to the toilet pass. And it takes away some of your frustration, and it puts the decision making back onto the student. And the third thing, the last thing you want to decide when you're thinking about items in your shop, is giving the children a chance to fix things, to make up for things that go wrong, and to fix and solve their own problems. So things like fix mistakes. So like a homework pass. If they forgot their homework and they don't want to get in trouble for it, they can buy a homework pass. Now, this doesn't encourage them not to do their homework, because they will be wanting to save that money. They don't want to buy a homework pass. And again, it's not you telling them they have to do this or even getting them into trouble. You're giving them the options to have their life this way or have their life this way. They also can have things like assignment bumps, so their score might go up a bit or something like that. It depends on your class. All of these things depend on the type of class that you have, obviously, but they're really useful. So they're the three things. You want things that you're already doing for free for your students, things that make your life easier as a teacher, and things that take away any annoyances or frustrations or problems you might have, and things that allow your students to fix issues that they might come across, to fix any problems they hit up against. These things are great items to have in a shop. Okay, so there's a few sort of talking points, but some actual real ideas of things you can improve, you could add are, if you have assigned jobs for your children in your classroom, you can let them choose or change their assigned job. That's quite a nice one, because they don't have to stick to the job that they've been given. Going first past, this can be applied to all kinds of areas of school life. First person in line, the first person out to break, first assignment to be marked if they want theirs done really quickly. You can ask your kids to have a think about what they would prefer to have as a reward for first, and you might come up with some others. Skip this one pass, which is really popular. You want to make this one quite expensive. Let them skip a particular lesson or even a particular assignment. I usually would suggest having them do something else, like reading their favourite book or listening to some music or something instead, because you don't want them running wild and free and bored during the skipped lesson. They have to have a plan for what they're going to do. Reading a book is quite a nice one, especially if they're quite interested in reading. They get to skip out on what everyone else is doing. Plus, they're still sitting there and they're still taking it in. Make these quite expensive, I would suggest. Quite a nice one is letting the students have a different name. They can change your name for a day, for a week. I wouldn't suggest longer than a week, because it kind of takes the novelty out of it and the excitement away from the purchase. Although, of course, they can always buy another one if they want to. And they get called that name in the register. They get called that name on assignments. They get called, you stick to it, make it a fun thing that just keeps on going. Quite a nice one, although it does involve quite a bit of giving up your time, is lunch with teacher. I've been in lots of classes and they always want to have lunch with you. If you're having to join them in the lunch hall, they get very, very excited. It's such a fun, exciting thing. We're going to have lunch with the teacher, and they can buy that. They can buy that item in their shop. Print it pass goes quite well with laminate it pass. Kids love to have things they've made printed off. So, and then laminated as well is extra special. I'm not going to go into why this works. Just know that I love to laminate, so I completely understand. It's something really nice. It comes out all warm, and I don't know, I like it. Okay, so that's just a few ideas. Oh, one more that is quite nice is to have in your store a mystery box where they don't know what's inside. They can buy it and they'll get something. This is quite handy if you personally don't know what's going to go in there and you want to add something at a later date, depending on who bought it and when they bought it. And you can decide in the spur of the moment what they're going to get, which is quite a nice thing. They might buy a mystery box. Okay, so these are just a few ideas when starting your classroom shop, your classroom economy. But it's a great idea to sit down with the kids first and work out what they want to buy, what items they think should be in the shop. Okay, so what happens when you get a bit further on? Let's talk about some more advanced strategies, some more things that some better ideas, some more advanced strategies. And the things I want to go into now might seem a little bit, oh, can we do that? But it just takes practice and you'll get used to this. I don't suggest starting out with these. I suggest starting out with the basic shop with the items in it and then later on progressing. So let's talk about avatars, not the film. So you become more comfortable with this idea of your classroom economy and your classroom shop, and they have shopping hour, perhaps once a week, perhaps at the end of the day. It depends how often you want to do it. And they can have an avatar. It's a great way to get them excited about the classroom economy, but it also gives you more options for items to put into your classroom shop. So it can be a character that you can make these in Bitmoji on Google, or you can even have the kids draw them if you want to, whatever you like, this sort of thing. And the avatar looks after their money, their points. And their avatar goes on any sheets you might print out. You can put them on bookmarks and things and give them to them for shopping hour. You can put them up on the screen when someone's buying it, or if a child says to you, like, oh, how many points do I have? You can pull up their screen with their Bitmoji avatar on there. This is a really nice way to really personalize it and make it not just numbers on a screen, but actually theirs. You can even, if you want to go further, make little bank books with their avatar on, and they get to keep a record of how they're doing and how many points they've spent and this kind of thing. These are all important lessons as well that you're teaching them. Now, when you create the avatar, you might want to decide with the children a very base uniform that they're going to have. But later on, they'll be able to spend their points, spend their earned rewards on things that accessories for their avatar. For example, they might want a hat for their avatar. You can even get as far as a car, any of these kinds of things that their avatar then has. And it's quite a competition, and kids love a competition. So you'll be able to say, oh, look, this person's got their new scarf. I know kids don't like scarves. So this is a great way to add extra items for them to purchase in their shops. Now, moving on from there, you can also have them team up their avatars so that they pool their points, so the things they've earned, and have them buy things as a group. Now, you have to be careful if you're going to allow them to do this, that they don't because it can lead to awkward balance issues with power struggles and things like that. You know your class, you know how they react to this kind of thing. But if you are willing to let them do that, this is really good. If they want to buy something like lunch with teacher and they're going to share that lunch with the teacher, they may want to pool their money, pool their points and buy that. So it's quite a nice reward to give them, to let them to let them have that reward that they wouldn't be able to afford and they'd have to save longer to get. Okay, on the subject of pooling money and joining their forces together, I'm going to talk a little bit about teams. Now, this is quite an advanced strategy. It's quite complicated and it requires a lot more time. So if you are planning to do this, you need to be very sure and have your ideas down firmly first, because it takes quite a lot more work. But it's very, very rewarding, and it gives your kids a great chance to really explore some complicated areas, things like teamwork, cooperation, financing, all these kinds of things are really complex issues that can be taught through this type of group interaction. So, teams. You can allow teams to purchase things together. And you can have like a team kitty or a team pot, where if someone in the team earns some rewards, the reward goes to the whole team. Or you can have them individually. They can decide how much money they're going to put into their team. However you want to work it out, how best suits your class is the best way forward with that kind of thing. But purchasing items as a team requires teamwork, and they need to negotiate with each other. And they need to think about, should we buy this? Should we not? All that kind of thing. If you think about a kind of community of a sports team, and they work together, they may not always get on, but they kind of work together. This is a similar thing. And it's a lot of encouragement for the classroom community as well. Anyway, so during shopping hour, the students can all sit in their groups, in their teams, and they can discuss the items that they want to purchase. They can work out aspects of their team identity, maybe their team name, their team colours, their team avatar, if that's what they want to do. And then you have more items that you can add into your shop. You have items that you can include in your shop, such as they can change their team name, which is something, again, these are all things that aren't going to cost you any money, but they're great rewards to give to your students. So if you have, for example, team 1, team 2, team 3, they may wish to actually be called Raven, Griffin thingy. Sorry, I don't watch Harry Potter. Don't really show up then. What's it called? Raven. Okay, I'm going to stop. I can't remember. This is the problem with going live. I just say something strange and then forget what I was on about. Anyway, so they are no longer called Team 1. They are called Blue Team, as an example. They probably wouldn't want to change their name to Blue Team, but they're buying the opportunity to change their name. They're buying this opportunity to have a different name for their team. They might want to change their team colours. They might even want to create a team shield, which would be a reward that you let them make a shield that they can hang up, or a flag that they can hang during shopping hour, or even on the wall in the classroom all the time if you want to. And let them create this thing. Now, another item that they could purchase in the shop, which is actually a tangible, real item, but kind of goes along the same line, would be things like materials to create their flag or to create their shield. They might get pipe cleaners, for example, or glitter or something. But this could be an item in your shop they need to purchase to create their flag that they will hang on the wall to create their team spirit, to show the rest of the class that they are the best team. I hope I'm making sense. I know I talk very, very, very fast. New names for the team. I would just say make sure you use Urban Dictionary before agreeing to a name. There's a lot of things that pass me by that we shouldn't have as names. And the kids know them and we don't. Anyway. So there you go. So do a little Googling before you agree to a name change button. There you go. So on to other things that you can do with groups items. You can do the reverse. You can have a group change the name of another group. Now, this has to be done very carefully. You don't want bullying types of aspects, but it's quite a fun thing to do. They might want this group here to be, well, I'm going to show my lack of knowledge on Harry Potter again, but the evil group, the evil house in Harry Potter, they might change their group's name to that. And then that group lives with it or works together to change it back. These are items that you could have in your shop. Okay, moving on. A popular shop item for teams is presentations, short presentations. Kids love to hear their own voice. You can give them, they can buy however many minutes they need, however many minutes they want, and they can use these minutes to present to the class whatever it is they need to present. Make these quite expensive because it takes up a lot of time. Let them take to the floor, let them do their presentation. They can purchase extra minutes if they need to. Okay, moving on from a bigger scale, away from groups, you can have whole class purchases. They can pool all their points and have an afternoon outside. Make this very expensive, something to aim for. They can have a pizza party, for example. I know these things do cost money, but not as much as you would have spent buying things to stock your shop. So if you sign whole class items, you need to set ground rules, because maybe not everyone will want the purchase. So everyone has to put in the same amount. Everyone has to agree that this is the type of thing they want. That's what you need to think about. Make sure that it's fair. Kids are very, very in tune to what is fair and what is not. So there you go. Okay. Excuse me. Moving on to pricing. How are you going to price these things in your shop? So before we leave it, I'd like to talk very, very quickly about setting your prices high. If in doubt, go higher than you think. Charge them lots and lots of points. It's easy to get carried away in the lesson that's going really well, or when the kids are being amazing, and just hand out all these points. You get some points and you get some points. So it'd be like Oprah Winfrey. You get points and you get points and you get points. And then you realize they've got too many points and they can buy loads of stuff that you don't want them to buy. Not that you don't want them to buy, but the challenge needs to be that they need to save, they need to cooperate, they need to do these things to get the items they want from the shop. So if in doubt, price high. And if it seems like things are out of your kids' reach, have a flash sale. Give them 10% off. If they're being amazingly well behaved, give them a voucher for 10% off of items in your shop. And you can see how they are getting these rewards, but it's not costing you anything at all. And they are earning these things and they're working towards this whole idea of I can buy this, I have control of my own day-to-day life. Okay, so that's kind of my whole thing about what you should stock your shop with. So creating a classroom economy is a really good way to build classroom community. It improves the behaviour in your classroom. It teaches them a whole range of skills, things that they wouldn't normally do. And it also adds to your lessons. You can incorporate it into your lessons in lots and lots of ways. So give it a go. Let me know how you get on. I'd be very interested to see how people get on. If you would like more guidance, more detail, or kind of everything I've already said in writing, you can grab my free guide on how to set up a classroom economy and have 10 steps to level up your teaching. That's at www.free.thegingerteacher.com. That's free.thegingerteacher, all one word.com. I'll put the link in the description anyway. So you can do that. And you can follow me on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, everywhere. I am seriously considering creating a classroom economy pack so that you won't have to make anything. I don't know if that's something that interests people. If it does, let me know and I will be happy to tell you if I get around to making it. Okay, thank you for listening to me. If you have any questions, if anything I've said doesn't make sense, please let me know. And I will be back possibly next week. Have a fantastic weekend, people.